in sprint football tonight. Navy comes into this one 4-0 on the year. Meanwhile, Molloy comes in 1-4 in the season. The Lions picked up their first victory in program history a couple of games ago back on September 26th against Cornell. Meanwhile, for the Mids so far this year, 47 final against the Big Red to start the season. They also beat St. Thomas Aquinas, Mansfield, and most recently, a come-from-behind 28-17 win over Chestnut Hill to take first in the South Division. Tim Nolan with you tonight. Thank you for making Sprint Football a part of your evening on the Navy Athletics YouTube. Both football teams in Annapolis undefeated so far, and Navy looks to move to 5-0 against the Lions. Second time these two teams has met. Last year, the Mids topped the Lions 34-0 up in Long Island. Molloy won the toss. They elected to receive. That means that we will see Mids kicker and junior Ja'Cory Sutton to boot it away for the midshipmen. High end over end kick on the far side at the 15-yard line. And brought downfield up to the 25-yard line, and stopped there is Jalen Gordon. And the Molloy Lions will begin this possession at the 26-yard line. Gordon on the return, a freshman from Far Rockaway, New York. And you'll notice that every single player we call tonight on this Lions team hails from the Empire State. It'll be Wilbert Spell III leading the offense, freshman quarterback from Oakland Gardens, New York. He rushed for 62 yards and a touchdown a couple of games ago against Chestnut Hill. Most recently, threw 2 INTs and a loss to Caldwell. Spell to throw on first down. Rolling right, hit as he throws. It's a duck, and it'll land harmlessly down at the 48-yard line. Good pressure by the midshipmen. Couple of Navy defenders in there, including Jake Walensky, who put a lick on the Lions freshman. Navy starting defense in this one. Across the front, you got Tyler Meisenzahl, Jensen Boyd, Mick Tabor, and Seamus Carrasco. Sam Stotler coming off of a big game. Jake Walensky, Christian Conley, Tucker Updell also out there at Rover. And then the defensive backfield, you have Angelo Pearson, Sean Betway, and Owen Urker. Navy forcing 5 turnovers in that most recent win against Chestnut Hill. 4 of them came in the second half. Here's a nice crease for Gordon, who turns it upfield, tackled down at the 30. Ball popped out at the end, but they'll mark him down first. It will be third down for the Lions and about 5 yards. They'll rule it officially 3rd and 6 for Molloy. The Lions offensive coordinator, also their head coach, Brian Hughes, in his second season, the inaugural head coach of the program. Spent the bulk of his coaching career at LIU Post. He made the Division II quarterfinals back in 2005. That same year, he was named Division II Assistant Coach of the Year as the team's offensive coordinator. It's another pass for Spell here on 3rd and 6. And he hits his man for the first down and more. That is Peter von Schonermark, the senior from Long Beach, who makes the catch. And the Lions move the chains up to the 43-yard line. Last game early, it was a struggle for the midshipmen defensively. Chestnut Hill picked up a first down on a number of its first possessions, but more importantly, the Eagles also scored touchdowns on 2 of the first 3 drives. Spell with trips to the top of your screen. He's got Gordon in the backfield. They toss it out to him. The 5'5 freshman darting towards the original line of scrimmage. He's thrown down. Seamus Carrasco there to greet him. Carrasco came into this one, 21 tackles, 11 of them of the solo variety. A senior from Germantown, Tennessee. His brother Dante played here, graduated 2024. His oldest brother Ricky also a U.S. Navy grad back in 2021. Shotgun look as von Schonermark comes across the formation, and now he'll trot back in motion, set up as a lead blocker. Play action for Spelly. It's Van Schoenermark who's lit up. Two mids there to greet him. Updahl in on the stop. He gets some help from Christian Conley. And that'll bring up 3rd and 11 for the Lions. Molloy in its most recent loss to Caldwell waited until the fourth quarter to punch in its touchdown. It was a 10-yard TD catch by Van Schoenermark, who's one of the bell cows of this offense. The Lions did put up 266 total yards in that game, but a number of turnovers kept giving the ball up to Caldwell. Here's Spell again to pass on 3rd down. Fires one deep downfield in a double coverage, and it's defended nicely. That was Betway on the far side there, making sure that pass fell to the turf. 4th and 11, the Lions will punt. Owen Erker, the free safety, also ranging over to force that incompletion for the midshipmen. Timmy Stosko, a sophomore from Brooklyn, New York, out to do the punting. He's at the 31-yard line of Molloy. And Grant Sturkey back deep to receive. It's an errant snap. Stosko on the move. He is lit up, and Christian Conley's going to take this one in for 6. More special team success for the Navy Sprint midshipmen. And it's 6-0 Navy, 11:31 to go in this first quarter. Plenty of high fives to go around for junior Christian Conley, a prior enlisted from Antioch, California. Went to Heritage High School, also went to Naps back in 2022-23. Scores his first touchdown as a member of Navy Sprint as Sutton knocks through the PAT, and it's 7-0. They're warming up the cannon here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial. The midshipmen play Florida Atlantic tomorrow as Navy football looks to improve to 7-0 for the first time since 1978. 7-0 your score. Christian Conley scooping up the errant snap on the botch punt by the Lions, and Navy leads it early. It's been a collegiate sprint football league dominated by the service academies, particularly Navy. The mids in 80 years of existence since 1946 have won 40 of the collegiate sprint football league championships. Now coached by an alum, Major Carter Reading. He has enjoyed a bevy of success since taking over this program and just continuing the tradition of sprint greatness here in Annapolis. Again, Sutton back out there to do the kicking for the mids. Guys one towards the sideline. Scooped up by Gordon, who opts to stay in bounds. Shakes past one tackler. And is finally ushered out of bounds by the 20-yard line up to around the 23. And that's where this second drive will begin for the Lions. Molloy picked up a first down on the first time on the field. Again, on 4th and 11, snap over the head of Molloy's punter. And Christian Conley took it in for the touchdown. The Lions will now go to Paulie Drummond, the 5th. 6'2 junior quarterback from Massac, New York. He hands off to Gordon. Plows forward for a pickup of about 4 yards. Jalen came into this game with just 23 rush yards. He did the bulk of his damage in the receiving game. Has 180 yards after catch. But clearly being focused on here in the running game. Paulie Drummond played for Keystone College his freshman year back in 2023. Only threw for 149 yards. but he has been an efficient passer. We're going to get our first time out here, called by Molloy. Last season, Drummond in his first year with the Lions put together a total QBR of 82.57. It's a more holistic view of the efficiency of a quarterback. For reference, this season, you look up in the NFL, Dak Prescott leads the league with a QBR of 81.3. Again, Drummond's was 82.5. So he's clearly managing the game well. He's completing a high percentage of his passes. And most importantly, of all qualities that Paulie had listed in his bio, is that he's a Mets and Jets fan. You'll see a number of those with this team from Long Island. So not only can Paulie play efficiently, but he certainly knows how to deal with adversity. Out of the timeout taken by Coach Brian Hughes, it will be 2nd and 7 for the Lions. Just over 4 gone by here in this first quarter. Design rollout to his right, and Carrasco jumps the pass, nearly picked it off. Third and 7 for the Lions. Molloy thus far tonight 1 for 2 on first down. Drummond with trips to the top of your screen. He's got Gordon with him in the backfield. Steps up in the pocket. Airs one out towards the sideline where Carrasco makes the hit after a short completion. That'll bring up 4th and 5. Stasco and the Lions hoping for a better result on this punt than the first one. Grant Sturkey back deep to receive at the 30. It's a low snap, fielded well by Stasco. Kick takes a hop down at the 43-yard line, picked up by Sturkey, who's going to make a run at it, and he's taken down. Nice play by the Molloy gunner. That was Anthony DeSalvo, the sophomore, getting down there and making the stop. And even though it's 7-0, this is our first look at the Navy midshipman offense. Couple of changes from last week. Only on the offensive line, you've got Will Tretcher. Brandon Fletchall returns to left guard. Julian Armstrong, who filled in from last week, will now move over to right guard. You've got Kerry Johnson, the captain, at center, and John Dutton at right tackle. And the usual suspects in the backfield, including Hunter Jennings. But it's O'Connell to throw on first down, and he hits Biamungu Nakiri for a first down pickup. Finally taken down out of bounds up at the 48-yard line, and that is exactly what you want to see out of Chuck Abbott's offense. O'Connell just 2 for 9 last game against Chestnut Hill. Great idea getting him an early, easy completion to move the chains. Mids return to the gun. Jennings to the right of O'Connell. Junior from Darien hands off to his classmate. Bounces off one tackle, stiff arms another. Jennings has a block, but Nakiri stepped out of bounds. And Hunter will opt for a chunk play down the near sideline. Officially marked down at the 26-yard line. And Akiri stayed ahead of him and led block. It could have well ended up in 6, but Mids have picked up 2 first downs on 2 plays. You can even hear from that Navy sideline, hold your blocks. First and 10 for the Mids of the Molloy 26-yard line. Jennings to the left of O'Connell. They bring Freeman in motion. Hand it off to Jennings. Comes out of one-arm tackle, bounces off of another, and powers his way up to the 15-yard line. A great conversation earlier this week with Hunter after his career performance against Chestnut Hill, where he rushed for 276 yards. And for reference, that accounted for 88% of Navy's total offense in that win over the Eagles. Jennings was formerly flirting with the idea of playing for Navy's big boy football team. Ultimately didn't materialize when he arrived on campus and was thinking, do I play, do I not play, and ultimately had a TAD. For those of you who don't know, that's a graduated midshipman awaiting their assignment. Tell him you should go out for it. I think you got a chance. You're good football players. O'Connell sets back to throw. Arcs one towards the far pylon. It's caught. Touchdown, midshipman Jake Berger with the catch. And Navy leads it 13-0, 7:54 to go in the first. Beautiful design from offensive coordinator Chuck Abbott. The mids ran those switches on the far side, the scissor route. And you had Berger coming out of the slot, the sophomore from Walnut Creek, California, hauling in his second touchdown of the year. Sutton's PAT up and through. It's 14-0 mids. Well, Hunter didn't have to do much on that drive. A good chance so to wrap up that story about the ultimate disappointment that he felt initially, thinking that he wasn't going to be able to play with the big boy football team, and then an opportunity opened with Sprint. And Hunter has made the absolute most of it. Last year as a sophomore, he was first-team All-League selection. This past week, he was Offensive Player of the Week for the 276 yards he racked up and all 4 touchdowns in that Navy win over Chestnut Hill. Former All-State football player from Linton, Indiana, who has been one of Navy's best players since he showed up at that first practice back as a freshman. 4-play, 66-yard drive for the mids. It spanned 2 minutes, 15 seconds. Luke O'Connell to Jake Berger from 15 yards away. Navy rolling early against the Lions. Sutton levels another ball right into the hands of Gordon, who bobbles it, finally corrals at the 13, and now is in scramble mode. And finally taken down, the ball comes out. There's a flag down. At the moment, it is ruled Molloy football anyways. Vaughn Washington jumped on top. Tough call from Molloy. It's what you often see when a return man switches gears and tries to take it against the grain. You sets up those crackback blocks, those blindside hits that perhaps even 5 years ago wouldn't have even warranted a foul. And this time it's pushing Molloy all the way back inside the 10-yard line. They go half the distance. They'll put the football down at the Molloy 6-yard line. And that's where this drive will begin with Wilbert Spell III returning at quarterback. Spell played his high school ball at Erasmus Hall. He won a 4A PSAL football title his senior year of high school. Handed off to Gordon on first down, swallowed up at the 5. Cut down for a loss. A whole flurry of Navy and gold in there for the tackle. Nick Tabor in there on the stop. He was League Defensive Player of the Week most recently. Monster game against Chestnut Hill. 8 tackles, 2.5 for them for loss. Also had a sack and 2 fumble recoveries. One of the best games to date for the junior from Omaha, Nebraska. Molloy's run half of its plays now from behind the original line of scrimmage. Spell will take the timeout. 7:02 to go in this first quarter, and that leaves the Lions with one more timeout the rest of this first half. And while the way this game is unfolding is not a total shock, it's a lot of credit to this Molloy program with the way they've responded this year after that inaugural season last year where the Lions go 0-7. They picked up that win against Cornell. Molloy also picked up start of the year 2-0. They fell 14-13 to St. Thomas Aquinas to begin this season, but then took care of the Big Red. They won that game 16-6 thanks to some long offensive drives. You also had Aiden Doss picking up team-high 8 tackles in that one. The offense ripping off a 15-play, nearly 8-minute drive to start the game. And when this group gets rolling, moving the football, they have been successful this year. One name we haven't called so far in this one is their leading rusher. Freshman Ryan Downs has racked up 166 yards and a touchdown this year. Bunch formation for the Lions out of the timeout on 2nd and 11. Spell gives inside and little running room. They'll mark it no gain. It'll be 3rd and long for Molloy. On cue, that was the first run of the game for Ryan Downs, who has, I think, one of the best pregame superstitions of any player. So he has to eat a bagel before every single game. His quarterback Spell here rolling to his right. Going to tuck and run on 3rd and long. Knocked down well short of the sticks. Good hit by Walensky at the 11-yard line. First snap was too high. The second a little low, fielded by Stasko. And Molloy really needs this one to be just right. Lions punting on 4th and 5 from their own 11. Navy rushing in for the block. Carrasco nearly got there. Stasko did well to get it off in time. And the ball will come to a stop at the 35-yard line. Punt of just 24 yards. And Navy will begin with prime starting field position in Molloy territory. 35 yards to go to Painter. Trips to the top of your screen for Navy. Ball on the far hash with O'Connell at quarterback. And Hunter Jennings to his left on 1st and 10. O'Connell to throw, flips it out far side. Nakiri makes the catch, following blockers. And then driven backwards, but not after a first down pickup. A gain of 16 on 1st down. Up into the red zone at the Molloy 19. Nakiri with 2 catches in this one for 29 yards. And it's going to Stacks at the bottom of your screen, and Berger already has a touchdown catch. Here it's Jennings lowering the shoulder and chucking a tackler up at the 15-yard line, a gain of 4. Jennings coming into this game, 678 yards rushing on 84 carries and 7 touchdowns. He remains in the backfield with O'Connell. Broderick Freeman offset the left tackle, Treacher. They bring Brody in motion. O'Connell to throw. And zips one up towards the sticks with the catches made by Berger just short of the first down marker. They'll whistle the play dead up at the 10-yard line. And this is the Luke O'Connell we're much more accustomed to seeing. Just 2 of 9 last game, but on the season, 31 for 56. He'd have a monster game against Mansfield where he threw for 173 yards and 3 scores. 2 in the backfield with O'Connell this time. Freeman to his right, Jennings to his left. O'Connell tries the hard count. And now we'll hand off to Hunter Jennings, who bounces it outside and sprints in for 6. Touchdown, NAVY. It is 20-0 Mids. Tenth total touchdown of the season for the junior from Linton. And it is all Navy in this first quarter. Ja'Cory Sutton remains perfect on points after 21-0 Mids. If you're tuning in and still trying to get to a midshipman game this year, Navy has one more home game after this one. They'll take on Caldwell on November 7th and is sandwiched in between 2 road dates. First, next weekend at Penn. It's a Saturday game, neat opportunity for the Mids, and then they'll play one more game on Saturday, November 15th. Navy, Army for the Star. The Naval Academy does have a star match this weekend up at West Point, albeit in women's rugby. Army currently leads the overall Star Series 3-2-1. There is one draw that occurred in women's soccer back up in Chester, Pennsylvania a couple weeks back. Sutton wearing that right leg out, his 4th kick of the half, and another bobbled by Gordon. Dances past one tackler, scoots outside and tripped up the 24-yard line, but a nice return by Mr. Gordon. Jalen was initially recruited to play in Division II Walsh University. His first year there, 151 yards receiving, didn't have a touchdown. But at just 5'5", he has found the perfect sport to maximize his elite athleticism. These 2 quarterbacks continue to take turns as Drummond, the 5th, back to commanding the offense. He's under center. Has his man Downs behind him. Hands it off to him. Off tackle stretch play. Lions move the pile for a gain of about 3 yards. Up to the 27-yard line. Nathan Keese, the linebacker, in on the tackle. Jensen Boyd, James Wright also there. Pistol look for the Lions on 2nd and 7. Drummond tosses behind him. It's bobbled but gathered and taken up to the 29-yard line by Marquise Dixon. Dixon, the other feature back this year for the Lions, 124 yards rushing coming into this one. He also gets it done in the classroom. He's going to Molloy for nursing and is in the pre-med program. A number of students on this team who are either biology or nursing majors. 3rd and 7. It's a rollout to the right. The pass is tipped out of the air and batted down by Jack Rosales. Navy defense forces another 3 and out. Stosko to punt for the Lions. Far cry from a week ago for the Mids. And Navy trailed 17-14 at the break. Sturkey will field on a hop, wants a chance at a return. Grant shifts course once, twice, shakes out of a tackle, but brought down inside the 30-yard line at the Navy 27. See a flag at the top of your screen. That's because Bailey Gendison took a hit late and will likely have 15 yards tacked on to the end of this. Check that. Molloy benefits from a personal foul against the midshipmen. This will move Navy's starting field position inside its own 20-yard line. I'll officially put it down in between the hatches at the Navy 14. Navy ones remain on the field. You got Sturkey at the top of your screen and Biamungu Nakiri at the bottom. Hand off to Jennings, wrestled down to the turf after a short gain. Nice tackle on that near side. Max Kramer on the stop. Second and 8 for the midshipmen. Berger in motion. O'Connell hands it off to Jennings. Bolts up the middle. Stopped in his tracks. Whistle blows as Hunter looked to spin out of a tackle. Bring up third and medium for the midshipmen. And Navy will have to run one more play here before the end of the quarter. Two wide either side for the Mids. Jennings in the backfield with O'Connell. 3rd and 5 for Navy. Luke to throw. Zips it short and over the head of Nakiri. That'll bring up 4th and 5, and Navy will be forced to punt. The sophomore from Baltimore created plenty of separation on the near side. Pass was just a tad over his fingertips. Aaron Harris, senior from Carlsbad, California, to punt. High snap brought down, and he has mastered that spiraling kick. Driving it deep into Molloy territory. Will come to a stop at the Lions' 29-yard line. And that's where Molloy will have it when we come back with second quarter action. All Navy in the first 15 minutes. Your midshipmen lead at 21-0. We'll be back in a minute with the second quarter. Start of the second quarter here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. Navy leads Molloy 21-0. Spell hands it off to his tailback, and little room to run yet again against this Navy defense. Jake Frazier in there on the stop, junior from Nashville, Tennessee. His father, David, a 96 grad of the academy, and Jake had a career game against Chestnut Hill most recently. Career-high 6 tackles, and he also picked up an INT. Second and long for the Lions with Spell the third back at quarterback as the two signal callers take turns here in this first half. Downs on his right. Spell designed quarterback run all the way. Gets a block on the outside by Von Schoenermark. And that'll set up third and short for Molloy. Elijah Brown in there on the defensive line for Navy. We got to give Eli a shout out because for those of you who are watching this, they're also fans of the big boy football team, or you enjoy the creative content that Navy Athletics puts out. Eli plays a pivotal role in a lot of the footage that you see. He is a talented videographer and somebody that does tremendous work for all of Navy's sports behind the scenes. 3rd and 5 for Molloy. Spell has an open man. It's caught for a first down. And Von Schoenermark takes it all the way up towards midfield, marked down at the 48-yard line. So Peter continues his success against the midshipmen. Last year had 52 yards receiving in that loss to Navy. Two nice plays in succession for the Lions as Navy begins to phase in some of the twos on defense. Spell hands it off to Downs. Jukes in the hole and trudges his way for a gain of 2. Stopped at midfield. He's 2nd and 8 for the Lions. Damian Breedlove in on the stop for the Mids. Second and 8, single coverage on the near side. And they're looking that way for Von Schoenermark. Spell just has to huck it out of danger. Lucky he wasn't picked off there as Aiden Lewis was closest to the football. There's also some laundry in the backfield. This team, there was an intended target in the area, so no intentional grounding called against Spell. Nevertheless, it's 3rd and 8 for the Lions. And now Drummond comes back out to run the offense. Got Gordon in the slot. Von Schoenermark, bottom of your screen. Drummond's looking that way at his lead wide receiver. Hesitates, throws late. Von Schoenermark cannot hang on. Dejectedly throws that ball away. Peter was open for a minute. His quarterback hesitated, and that cost the Lions a first down pickup. It's been a busy first half so far for Timmy Stosko. His cousin Ryan plays sprint football for St. Thomas Aquinas. Starkey can't feel this one cleanly, but he has a lane. However, signaled the fair catch. And so the Navy will start within its own 20 for the second straight drive. Molloy's defense forced a 3 and out in the previous drive. Before that, the Mids with 2 touchdown drives. The first capped by Jake Berger, 15-yard TD catch. And then Hunter Jennings with his 10th touchdown of the season. That's where we stand, 21-0. The first TD was a special team score. Christian Conley scooping up a fumble. Bimungu Nakiri gestured out wide. O'Connell to throw. Patient in the pocket. Flush to his left. Luke keeps the eyes downfield and links up with Starkey for a first down. Grant Starkey hit past the 30 and taken down to the 32-yard line. The Navy ball officially at the 33. And Starkey, a senior from Knoxville, Tennessee, referred to as the most gifted football wide receiver on this team by head coach Carter Reading. And that was his 7th reception of the season. O'Connell again in the air, in the play action. And that's off the hands of Nakiri. The previous drive, it was O'Connell's pass was too high for Nakiri to handle, but that time he put it right where it needed to be on the out route. And Bimungu couldn't bring it in. Nakiri, a sophomore, went to Loyola Blakefield and finished homeschooled in high school. Hadn't played football since 8th grade. He hit the ground running last year with nearly 300 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. Toss play out to Jennings, blown up in the backfield. Tackle for loss by Aiden Doss. A freshman from Seaford, New York, makes it 3rd and long for Navy. This season, Doss, the Lions' leading tackler, 31 tackles, 21 of them solo. Two wide either side for the Mids. O'Connell airs it out for Berger. It's dropped. He got it over the fingertips of D'Angelo Cabrera, but Jake can't haul it in. That'll bring up 4th and 17 for the Mids. Jake was also running out of room there on that far sideline. It would have been tough for him to get the feet down had he did brought it in. So Harris out to punt for the 2nd straight drive. And drills that one up past the 30. Continues to roll. It's finally picked up by Gordon. Jalen shakes down and dives to a hold at the 17-yard line. So the Navy offense has hit a standstill. We'll see if the defense can continue to fire on all cylinders. The midshipmen have held the Lions to 26 total yards thus far. Molloy's rushed for -2. Last season, Navy held the Lions to just 25 the entire game. Paulie Drummond takes a snap under center, and that's been the story this evening. If Molloy's putting the football on the ground, there is just nowhere to run. That time, stopped in the backfield was Marcus Dixon. The Lions take back to the air where Molloy's picked up all of its yards. 28 pass yards so far. And Drummond throws low. It cannot be handled on that far side by Washington. Third and 10 for the Lions, under 10 to go before halftime. When Molloy has had success on first down tonight, the Lions have gone to their top receiver, Von Schoenemark. Pauly has Dixon to his left in the backfield. Drummond to sling it out wide. That is a lateral. Referees will, in fact, say no, incomplete. So, I mean, it's 4th and 10 for the Lions as the punt unit comes back out. This is Navy defense has Molloy's offense in a vice grip. Sasko, fortunate to get that one away. He was hit after the boot. Now we'll finally get a flag as Sturkey's on the run to scoop up the punt. Jukes a tackler at the 30. Keeps the feet going past the 33 and spun down the 35-yard line. And now we'll check the penalty. Again, there's running into the kicker, which is just the 5-yard variety. But roughing is 15, an automatic first down. And go figure on the one he was hit on. Stasko gets off his best punt of the evening. Drove Sturkey all the way back to the 30-yard line. And a short return will start this drive at the midshipman 35. Well done by Stasko. Officially a 59-yard punt. Well, I've yet to see it. Timmy also handles the PATs for the Lions and is 1 for 2 this year on field goals. Top of the game right now, you can see the top of your screen. That's Coach Hughes asking for the head referee to come talk with them. And you wonder if the frustration more so stems from the disagreement on whether it was running into the kicker or roughing the kicker. But whatever the decision was, he's not happy with the conclusion. Navy to throw on 1st and 10. They set up a screen and a whole lot of room to run for Berger. Take officially marked out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Pickup of 8 on 1st down. Luke O'Connell tonight, 5 of 8 passing, 67 yards and a touchdown. That was Berger's second catch for 21 yards and a score. O'Connell bringing Kite in motion, hands it off to Broderick Freeman, who stretches the ball across the 45 for the first down. Broderick coming off of a nice game in his own right. Only problem is he didn't get a chance to finish off any drives because Janik stole all of the touchdowns. Brody rushed for 32 yards in that win over Chestnut Hill. Continues to build on a fine season. 35 attempts, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he also has 3 catches for 28 yards. O'Connell hands it off to Jennings, and he might take this one the distance. Jennings down the field, up the hashes, 1 tackle to break, and he's going to drag them all into the end zone. Touchdown NAVY, and a 15-yard personal foul tacked on. Well, he squatted 555 pounds in high school. And while he said earlier this week, admittedly, that you can't do that so much anymore when you have to maintain 178 pounds to play sprint, he can still get it up there. And he took a couple Lions for a ride all the way to the checkerboard end zone. As it stands, it's a 55-yard touchdown run for Jennings, his second score of the night. Personal foul issued against Tiangelo Cabrera, who was the guilty party, throwing Jennings to the turf after Jennings dragged him 15 yards into the end zone. Corey Sutton, perfect thus far tonight, 3 for 3. Snap down, hold good, make it 4-4-4. And Navy leads it 28-0. All sorts of elements of a typical Navy football game day. Going through some trial runs this evening. You've got the cannon on full display. You also hear the PA voice of Navy football. Getting the pipes warmed up for tomorrow at 3:30 when the midshipmen host Florida Atlantic for just the 3rd time in program history. Owls and Mids meet for the first time since 2017. Navy Sprint football at the top of the South Division at 4-0 and 1-0 in divisional play. Navy Big Boy football at 6-0 in the season and 4-0 atop the American Conference. A league that, as it stands right now, very likely would pick up the Group of 5 automatic bid to the college football playoff. Thanks to the personal foul, Sutton can kick from the end logo at midfield. And Chikori takes full advantage of the opportunity, knocking that ball back to the 1-yard line. Gordon will take it out and sprint past the 15-yard line. How about Gordon? Another nice return, and Jalen takes it to the 22-yard line. Move the line of scrimmage back one, so it'll be 1st and 10 Lions from the 21-yard line. 7:16 to go in this first half. And Wilbert Spell returns a quarterback. Ryan Downs with him in the backfield. Design quarterback run. Spell cuts it upfield and driven backwards. Pickup of 4 and then a big hit by Bailey Gendison. It's one of those great games for the midshipmen where you get a chance to shout out almost every single player on the roster. Spell with 2 in the backfield, rolling to his left. He'll throw it short. Washington can't scoop it off the turf. And that'll bring up 3rd and 6 for the Lions. Vaughn Washington, the intended target, 9 catches for 70 yards this season. Also pretty cool detail with Vaughn Washington, who wears number 3 in honor of his favorite football player, Tank Dell. Dell currently on the mend, out for the entirety of this season after bursting onto the scene with the Houston Texans a couple of seasons ago. Bell steps up and has a man up at the 35-yard line. On cue, it's Washington. And Vaughn hauls it in for a Molloy first down. Third Molloy, 3rd down conversion of the evening. Lions directing traffic before the snap as the play clock dwindles under 5 seconds. Another design QB run. Spell, patient, gets a block, and then stopped in his tracks. Driven backwards by Lex Wilson. I know earlier we said Rosales, the 42 is Lex Wilson. Typically wears 46, donning 42 tonight. Why? Well, because he forgot his jersey. Second and 6 for a spell in the Molloy offense, who has the Lions moving once again. This drive began back at the 21-yard line, now up to the 39. Second and 6 from the near hash. Spell the throw, and the ball's knocked free. Navy thinks it has it, and the midshipmen do. Edmonds comes away with the fumble recovery. And the Mids take over in Molloy territory, up at the 31-yard line. And after all that, it's negated. A late penalty, defensive holding against the midshipmen. I'll give new life to this Molloy drive and move the chains. Ten-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10, Lions up at the 49. Molloy angling towards the near side. Spell handed off behind him to Downs, who's driven backwards. Nothing but navy and gold in his sights. James Wright and company there to bring him down. Now 2nd and 10 Lions as Spell rushes back to the huddle. Washington top of your screen for Molloy. And Downs in the backfield with his quarterback. We're at 4 for 8 passing tonight, 36 yards. Keep it on the ground here with Downs leveled in the backfield. It's Connor Miltenberger on the stop. 3rd and long, Lions. Connor came into this one 4th on the team, 21 tackles this season for the sophomore from Centerville, Ohio. On 3rd and 10, Molloy will go trips to the top of the screen. Lions 3 for 9 on 3rd down tonight. Keep an eye on Von Schoenermark in the slot. He's blocking. They'll go short for Washington. Makes the catch in traffic, but well short of the sticks. Into Navy territory at the 47-yard line. So with 3 minutes to go and counting here in this first half, Molloy will run its first play from scrimmage in Navy territory. Tosco content to kick it away. Takes a hop at the 20. We'll get a flag fly for the back judge as Sturkey breaks it. Grant Sturkey sheds Tosco's tackle up at the 50. Cuts past another at the 40-yard line. Still going. Whistles sound, and this play is going to stop. Sturkey's in the end zone. Everybody stopped back at the 35-yard line, and this is a mess. And given where you're looking at the officials right now, off screen you have Molloy's defense taking the field all the way back towards the Navy 10-yard line. The midshipmen aren't preparing for this foul to be against them anyways. The flag is on the far side at the Navy 15-yard line. There's also another marker down at the 31-yard line of the Mids. There's a good look at it. Well, we can show you the one at the 31. And there's another one out of view over at there we go, the 15-yard line. To the near side, the right of your screen, that Navy huddle. Mids coming off of a touchdown drive that was spearheaded by Hunter Janik's 2nd touchdown of the night. 8 carries for 104 yards and 2 touchdowns. A 55-yard TD score is pedestrian for him. Had a 72-yard TD run last week against Chestnut Hill. So after all that, 4th down marker is up. They've reset the chains. And the Molloy offense is back out on the field here with 2:24 to go. So after all that, the penalties deemed inconsequential. Inadvertent whistle will result in a re-kick. And Sturkey wants to give this one a go. Now he'll back away, and it's down at the 2-yard line. Downs stops it at the 1. Stosko with his second straight brilliant boot. And the sophomore puts the Mids at the doorstep of their own end zone with 2:16 to go in this first half. Navy goes with his goal line package, and Molloy reciprocates. 11 packed towards the line. Jennings does well to scamper his way out of harm's way and stretch the ball up to the 3-yard line for a 2-yard gain. And I'll take us to the 2-minute warning. In a half that has been controlled by the midshipmen throughout. Navy 181 total yards of offense to just 48 for Molloy. The Mids have also forced 2 turnovers in this one. The first return for a touchdown by Christian Conley. The second was ultimately negated by a holding call against the Mids. Out of the brief stoppage, 2nd and 8 for the Mids. Ball at the Navy 3-yard line. Again, a party in the backfield with Threet, Freeman, and Jennings behind O'Connell. And again, Luke hands off to Jennings, bouncing his way off tacklers, spinning and turning his way up to the 17-yard line. So more tough running by junior Hunter Jennings. Philip Drexler slow to get up, and now he's told to go to his sideline. Well, the Drexler's all right. Freshman tight end from Oceanside, California. Fresh set of downs for the Mid. Clock continues to wind inside 90 seconds. O'Connell on the gun, hands it off to Jennings. Searching for running room and able to pick up another first down for Navy. And with 1:17 to go, Navy will halt the clock and call its first time out of this first half. It's about as good as you can ask for Coach Carter Reading, who says of being the head coach of Navy Sprint football, where he played and ultimately graduated from the academy in 2016, and said, I could not think of a better job. He had a year left in his commitment as an aviator. Had such great experiences with the Sprint squad, a lot of friendships on the team. He said, I can't think of anything better than coming back to coach these young men. Navy won a 2 unbeatens this season out of 9 in the Collegiate Sprint Football League. The Mids atop the South at 4-0. And the Army Black Knights lead in the North 4-0 and 2-0 in North Division play. O'Connell to throw on 1st and 10. Hits Berger on the out route. Jake scoots his way up to the 33-yard line. Bring up 2nd and 4 for the Mids. Fourth catch for Berger. He's up to 36 yards receiving. See if Navy returns to the air here 72 seconds before halftime. O'Connell to throw on 2nd and 4. Deep jump. Arcs one down the seam. It's caught. E.B. Denson with the reception. Clock continues to wind while Navy moves the chains. O'Connell to throw. Luke looking deep again, and it's picked off. Intercepted by John Zarnowski. The junior got greedy. He thought he had Denson once again. Instead, it's picked off by the senior from Floral Park, New York, who started college all the way back in the fall of 2019 at SUNY Maritime. Played in the D3 National Tournament there, was later at Nassau Community College where he both played football and also was a JUCO All-American in track. So Molloy takes over, 45 seconds to go in this first half. Lions football at the 20. Washington, the man in motion. Drummond will hand it off to Dixon. Who's tackled up and around the 22-yard line. Nathan Keese there on the stop. One timeout left for the Lions. Molloy opts not to use it. Washington again in motion. Design quarterback keeper. Drummond pulls, picks up about 7. And that will bring us to the end of the first half. 28-0 your score. Navy in total control here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. The Mids on the verge of 5-0 on the season. And we will take a break. When we come back, we've got third quarter action here from Annapolis. Navy leads it 28-0 your score at halftime. Start of the second half here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. The Mids lead the Molloy Lions 28-0 as we get ready to begin the second half of action here in Annapolis. Tim Nolan with all of you on the Navy Athletics YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in to Sprint Football tonight. The Mids' penultimate home game of the season as Navy is officially in the back half of its 2025 Collegiate Sprint Football League slate. The regular season that ends up at West Point on November 15th against the undefeated Army Black Knights. Navy 246 yards of offense in that first half. Touchdowns by Jake Berger, a 15-yard TD pass from Luke O'Connell. Hunter Jennings, 130 yards rushing and 2 scores as he just continues to show why he is the top running back in this league. Christian Conley also ran in his first touchdown of his Navy career. A scoop and score off the botched exchange on a Molloy punt back in the initial minutes of this first half. Costco swings the leg. It's a short kick down to the 30-yard line. Picked up by Sturkey at the 20. And Grant has a block up to the 40-yard line. Wrestled down at the 42 and taken up to around the 47. Officially mark him down to the 46-yard line. That's where the Navy offense will take the field to begin this third quarter. Coach Carter Reading sticking with the ones to begin this second half. It was a mercurial half for this offense. Mentioned the 3 touchdowns, but Navy also was forced to punt twice. The Mids also threw an interception in plus territory. Jennings on first down rushes for a gain of 5 into Molloy territory. Jennings with that carry moves his game total to 135 yards. Just about half of what he picked up last week against Chestnut Hill. This bunch set for the Mids. They'll hand it off to Freeman. Uses the stiff arm. Still going. And finally brought down to the 39. Best run tonight for Broderick Freeman. The sophomore from Atkins High School in Kernersville, North Carolina. He was Mr. Popular growing up. Class president 3 of 4 years in high school. Connell hands it off to Jennings this time. Hunter following blockers, bounces it outside, now up the seams. Hunter Jennings, a man on a mission, finally brought down inside the 10. He is a bowling ball once he gets downfield up to the second level.
Officials timeout for an injury.
Jennings brought that one for a gain of 24 yards. Now 167 for Jennings as he continued to tend to the injured Lion. Not only does Navy have the benefit of the talent and tradition, but the Mids also have a key component, simply the size of their program. You've called the number of names tonight, both on offense and on defense. The Mids have one of the largest rosters in the sprint football landscape. You go up and down the depth chart for Molloy and the Midshipmen. Lions have just about 2/3 the roster size of what Navy's able to sustain. Similar situation if you look up at the big boy football team, Navy with over 190 players all told between those that ultimately dress on game day and those you can see in the shorts and the bucket hats over on the sideline. A lot of silence right now, obvious concern from both sides. A nice nod of respect from the midshipman towards one of Molloy's top defensive players, Max Kramer, the sophomore from Farmingdale, New York. Thankfully up to his feet and able to make it off to the Lions sideline. Kramer came into this game, 12 tackles this season, a pass broken up. 6'2" sophomore that does a little bit of everything for this Lions defense. Linebacker, free safety. And you hope that he's all right. Another big gain for Jennings. It's 1st and goal to go for the Mids. O'Connell hands off to his classmate, Jennings, with his 3rd touchdown of the night. Touchdown, Navy. Fire the cannon yet again in Annapolis. Jennings up to 174 on the ground as Ja'Cory Sutton bangs through his 5th extra point of the evening. 35-0 your score under 2 minutes into this second half. The Midshipmen have surpassed 300 total yards of offense in this game, 185 of those on the ground. More balanced effort than we saw last Friday. Luke O'Connell, 115 yards through the air, 8 of 12 passing with a touchdown. Sutton to kick it away, right to left on your screen. Gordon and Washington back deep to return for the Lions. Sutton hooks that ball. It'll stay and trickle out of bounds. Thought for a moment it might have trickled down the numbers, but took a left turn, and that'll move the Molloy offense. A good starting field position to begin this drive.
Kicking team. Ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. 1st down.
Travel officially start at the 35. And Wilbert Spell III returns at quarterback. This Lions offense has had success with him under center. He's thrown for 42 yards tonight. It's a large portion of Molloy's 56 yards of offense. Taking inventory of this Navy defense. It's play action. Spell to his left and throws behind his intended target. That was Von Schoenermark on that far side who had a step. The ball was just a hair behind him as he broke into the soft spot in this Navy defense. Peter Von Schoenermark, who began his college career at Nassau Community. 2nd and 10 for the Lions. They'll hand it off. Give it off to Dixon. Marches his way for a pickup of 3. It'll set up 3rd and 7 for Molloy. One thing we haven't seen tonight from the midshipmen is a sack thus far. Opportunity here on 3rd and 7. Trips to the top of your screen for the Lions. 4 rushing for Navy. Spell arcs one deep down the far sideline looking for Washington. His pass falls incomplete and will bring up 4th and 7. Stosko and company retake the field to punt. Probably make out the voice of Tony Verducci, too, our right Navy defensive coordinator, former midshipman. Played from 75 to 1979, graduated from the academy in 1980. Sturkey will let this punt roll, and Stosko just continues to get it done in the kicking game. His 3rd straight punt. Surpassing 50 yards, this one puts the Navy offense inside its own 15. This Navy drive begins from the midshipman 13. We have a change at quarterback. Rhett Seipel into the game. I'll hand it off to Freeman, who cuts upfield, darts back towards the numbers, still going, and finally shoved out of bounds up past the 45-yard line. Best run tonight for Broderick Freeman. Rhett Seipel this season, freshman quarterback from San Francisco, California. He's rushed for a touchdown this year on 11 carries. Freeman in there in the backfield with them. They put Janix in motion. Another handoff to Freeman. Jukes a tackler at the 48. Lowers the shoulder and is driven back towards the 34 of Molloy. Back-to-back angry runs for the sophomore from Carolina. "53 yards, 2 plays on this Navy drive." Seipel puts it right back in the belly of Freeman, and he's close to yet another first down. Freeman coming into this one with 143 yards in the season, and he might double that tonight. Roderick now with 5 carries for 73 yards. Second and 1 for the Mids at the Molloy 25. Navy to the gun. You have Berger in the slot. Nakiri, top of your screen at wide out. Seipel gives to Freeman. A huge crease. Broderick Freeman into the end zone. Touchdown, NAVY. Third touchdown of the season for Broderick Freeman. 41-0 Mids. "25-yard TD run for Freeman. Give him 98 for the game. As Sutton hooks the PAT left, good pressure from the Lions. That will keep it a 41-0 game. For those of you also on career high watch for Broderick Freeman, he's under 30 yards away from his best game from a season ago when he racked up 124 yards on 12 carries in a win over Cornell. Freeman was a two-way star in high school at Atkins, where he set his school's single-season mark for tackles both in a season and in a career. Good return by Molloy, has the football up by the 40-yard line. It was Jalen Gordon who took it out, and he remains the injured Lion on the field. He's been a real bright spot in the return game today. Again, this Navy defense will congregate. The Mids outgaining the Lions 387-59 tonight. This job could be a good chance to call a number of names for the first time. Tyler Meisenzahl, one of the midshipman starters on the periphery, just looking into that huddle. We'll see if he goes back into this game or if he's just there for encouragement. Gordon able to make his way over to the sideline. Meisenzahl will turn around, stay on the Navy sideline. All reserves out there right now in the Navy defense. You got Hagan Holly out there, a corner for the first time. He's at the bottom of your screen guarding Washington. Drummond returns a quarterback for Molloy. Flag flies. That'll bring up 2nd and 9, pending the penalty. Ryan Downs on the carry for the Lions.
Legal formation against the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Pre-snap penalty will push this back to the 34-yard line. Do it all again. It'll be 1st and 15 now for the Lions. Other names to call for the first time. Outside linebacker nearest to your screen, Drake Murrell. Couple of mids jump forward, whistle silent, and a short gain on 1st and 15. As Downs plunges forward for a pickup of about 2. This game, the Navy has led since Molloy's opening drive. A fumble recovered and returned for a touchdown by Christian Conley. Drummond to throw here on 2nd and long. Hit as he throws and hits his man Von Schoenemark. Nice play under pressure by the junior from Mastic. Takes care of half the yardage to go and makes it 3rd and manageable here. 3rd and 6 for the Lions. Ball up at the 43-yard line. Chips to the top of your screen. Keep an eye on Washington all the way there at the top there in single coverage. Drummond's looking that way. Pressure in his face. Floats one towards the boundary. Nobody home. Credit the pressure to Damian Breedlove, getting in the backfield and putting a lick on the Lions signal caller. Clock stops, 7:39 to go in this 3rd quarter. Sturkey back to receive. He took one the distance back in the first half, but there's a whole bevy of things wrong with that play. An inadvertent whistle, a couple of penalties. They ultimately waved it off. Grant will make an effort at this one as Stosko just continues to impress in the punting game. Second time he's pinned a kick inside the 10. This one down at the 8-yard line. That's where this drive will begin. The second one with freshman quarterback Rhett Seipold under center. His first drive out there was all Broderick Freeman. Brody capped it with a 25-yard TD run. Sophomore back out there on the left hip of his quarterback. 1st and 10, Navy ball at the 8, handed off to Freeman. Dances past one tackler, rips through the arms of another, and darts his way up past the 20, down around the 23-yard line. Broderick Freeman passes the century mark for just the second time in his Navy career. .113 yards for the game, 11 shy of his career high. And Navy as a team has eclipsed 400 yards total. Mids will go trips to the bottom of your screen on 1st and 10. Seipold to throw. Zips it near side and up over the head of his intended target, Peter McKissick. McKissick, a senior from Memphis, Tennessee. See if Chuck Abbott wants to get his quarterback another layup to get him in the groove passing, or if they'll put the ball back in the belly of Freeman. On 2nd and 10, back to the ground with Freeman. Dances to the outside, cuts it back up the hashes, and spins his way for a first and a new career high on the ground. They give him credit for 13 yards officially. 126 yards rushing on just 8 carries for the sophomore. Looking for more. That will be his shortest effort of the evening. Nice stop in the backfield by Anthony Caliendo, who's listed as a quarterback, but has showed off his versatility at safety and also linebacker for this Lions defense. I shouted out Drummond earlier. Anthony's got the trifecta. He's a Mets, Jets, and Knicks fan. Seipold on 2nd down. Hands off to Freeman. Shakes a tackle at the 40. Still going in Lions territory. And finally tackled down at the 45. It's been the Broderick Freeman show here in this second half. Under 5 to play in this third quarter. And he's inching closer and closer to Jenick's game high, 174 yards rushing. This time a lineup offset the left tackle and Wyatt Kite in the backfield with Seipold. Now Brody returns. Seipold puts in the belly of Kite. Patient running, finds a crease, and then drags some more Lions with him up to the 35-yard line. If you got a chance to see that conversation with Genix earlier this week, I was giving him a hard time about that 555-pound squat back in high school. He said, well, he's not touching those numbers now. A lot of it due in large part to, one, the weight limit, and second, how none of these mids are going for PRs in the middle of a season. He said the one kid on the team that pushes him in each and every workout in the weight room is this freshman from West Jefferson, Ohio. He says Wyatt Kite makes him look small. You're looking at him right there in that Navy huddle, donning the number 23, talking with Freeman, and get some love from his quarterback. The Mids have rushed for 329 yards as a team today. That's Shea Malarkey, the injured line. I hope that he's able to walk this one off. A freshman defensive end from Long Beach, New York. Out of latest injury stoppage, 2nd and 1 for Navy. Ball at the Molloy 35. Kite returns to the backfield on the right hip of Seipel. Rhett's going to throw it. Wants it all down the far sideline. Intercepted. Picked off by D'Angelo Cabrera. Second INT tonight for the Lions, and Molloy takes over at the 5-yard line. Eerily similar to the interception that O'Connell threw back in the first half. Another deep shot in plus territory where the quarterback's looking for it all. You didn't need to take that chance. It's a new wrinkle from the Molloy offense as they go under center with the QB sneak, just trying to carve out some yardage and gain some distance from the end zone. But it will backfire, and this is going to move them half the distance to the goal.
Legal formation. Penalty enforced half the distance to the goal. Still first down.
3:52 to go in this third quarter. It will be Molloy football now at the 2.5-yard line. And Coach Hughes wants to talk this over with his offense. For your Navy fans, this is not the only midshipman event in action right now. Lafayette in town playing over at West B on the yard, leading the Mids in volleyball 1-0. It was a marathon of a first frame. The Leopards took that one 30-28 over the Mids, and they're deadlocked in the second right now, 19-all. You can catch that one over on ESPN+. Here on the Navy Athletics YouTube, 41-0 your score, all Navy tonight. And now 2nd and long for Molloy with the Lions back up against their own end zone. This time they'll hand it off. Spell gave to his tailback, who's blasted in the backfield. Tackled by Morrell and company. And that'll be 3rd and long. Molloy in no hurry right now to run this next play. On 3rd and long from the 4. Chips to the top of the screen. Design QB run all the way for Spell. Cuts back inside. Makes a nice gain out of it. And spins his way up past the 10 to around the 14-yard line. Those of you with a vested interest in Molloy Sprint football have to love what you've seen tonight from Wilbert Spell III. And he's in only his first season with the Lions. You also have to take solace in knowing that your punter, Timmy Stosko, is going to be here for a little bit as well. The sophomore has been really good tonight, but he's not 7 feet tall. That snap out of the back of the end zone, a safety will make it 43-0 Mids. Second time this evening that the snap has been too high to handle. The first was returned for a touchdown by Christian Conley. And now that safety makes it 43-0 Mids, and Navy will get the football. By the way, in that volleyball match right now, the Mids now taking the lead 22-19 in that second set. The Navy women's volleyball squad has been surging of late. Up the Patriot League standings all the way into a tie for 4th place. If that holds, Navy would get a chance to host a home matchup in the Patriot League tournament. The Mids are home tomorrow as well when they take on Lehigh at 7:30. After the safety, Stosko kicking from the Molloy 20. Good boot away, fielded by Denson at the Navy 20. EB with a huge seam ahead. A convoy ahead of him and taken out of bounds up past the 20-yard line. E.B. Denson marked out at the 17-yard line. Another example of that electrifying speed that this coaching staff can't wait to showcase. E.B. might be a sophomore, but he turns 24 years of age in a couple months. Prior enlisted in the Navy for 3 years. He started back at Brighton Academy, class of 2020. And then did a year at Naps in the 23-24 academic year. Snap to side pull. Hands it off to Freeman. Jukes a tackler at the 13. They'll mark him down right there. Sarnowski with the stop. He also has an interception early in this game. Clock continues to wind after that 5-yard run for Freeman. Peter McKissick offset the tight end. We'll get a timeout first, taken by Coach Hughes.
So second time out of the half.
Second time out of the half, taken by the Lions. Credit to the Molloy doing it the right way with their coaching staff as well. It's full on both sides. You've got a defensive coordinator, Nick Andre, and I'm Biner, the defensive line coach, Martin Green, focused on the DBs. Everyone has a role to play as this team continues to progress forward in just its second year of existence. After this, the Lions have their first bye of the season, and then they'll return to action against Pennsylvania on November 7th before rounding out the season against Mansfield on the 14th. Saipo brings a high snap down, going to take it himself, rushing towards the far sideline, and tackled up and around the 9. I'll mark his progress down at the 8-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 1 for the Mids. Third and 1 for Navy. Saipo with Freeman to his right. Handed off to the sophomore. Breaks one tackle. Can't get past the next. And thrown to the turf by Mike Campanelli and others. Loss of 2 on the play. Back to the 10-yard line. And it'll be 4th and 3 when we come back. 43-0 Navy. The Mids 15 minutes away from improving a 5-0 on the season. Navy going for it to begin the fourth quarter. You got Kite in the backfield and Saipo the quarterback. Gonna throw it. Lost one towards the far sideline. It's caught. Touchdown, Navy. John Malatesta into the end zone. And it's 49-0 Mids. And before Sutton can make it an even 50, an extra mid beckoned out onto the field. Play clock down to 3. Navy just gets the snap off in time, and Sutton knocks through the PAT to make it 50-0 Midshipmen. Second time that the Mids have put up 50 this season. They also beat Mansfield 50-7 earlier this year. As it stands, it would be the largest margin of victory for the Mids since October 27th of 2023, when Navy won up at Cornell in Ithaca 58-6. Corey Sutton swings the leg. And this one will be returned by Washington from the Molloy 3-yard line. Changes gears, loses the football at the 19, able to scoop it back up. And this Lions drive will begin from the 18-yard line. Try our best as well in this drive to shout out every possible name we can that we haven't called yet, because Reading and Verducci have been able to empty the bench on that defense. See Aiden Lewis coming across the formation, getting organized on defense. Nathan Keast also out there moving around. Drummond will pitch it behind him on 1st and 10. A nice run here on 1st down. It's Ryan Downs for a pickup of about 7. Navy Volleyball did win that set, by the way, for those of you curious. The Mids tied up at 1 apiece, 25-22 in that second frame. Drummond to the play action here on 2nd and 3. He's going deep down the seam, and it's batted away. Bailey Gendison on the coverage. Once again, it was Peter Van Schoenemark, the intended target. Play clock dwindles down to 5. Snap to Drummond, toss it behind him to Downs. Taken down immediately at the 25-yard line. Lit up by Drake Merle. Now 4th and 4 for Molloy, and it'll be Stausko to punt. This one will be fielded by Sturkey. Lost the handle. Hit while he was on his backside, but already picked up the football. So it'll be Navy ball at the 45-yard line. This Navy offense hasn't skipped a beat with Rhett Seipold, the freshman, and a quarterback. Roderick Freeman capped his first drive with a touchdown, and then he threw one on his last job. Here he's going to tuck and run and pick up the first with his legs, spinning his way past the 45 up to the Molloy 42-yard line. This Navy offense with a new mark in sight. The Mids 474 yards of offense. Looking to pass half a millennium as that handoff is taken for a short gain by Wyatt Kite. Pickup of a couple. It'll set up 2nd and 8. Seipel and second and long. Hands off to Kite. This time he rips off a nice gain. Tackled after a pickup of 4. It'll set up third and manageable for the Mids. Clock winds towards 11 to go here in this fourth quarter. Seipel got tied up with Kite. Doesn't matter as Wyatt has a seam. Breaks out of a tackle at the 20. And the pile pushes him forward past the 15 to the Molloy 14-yard line. Wyatt Kite's starting to have some fun on the ground now. That is his best pickup of the game. Had 3 carries for 15 yards before that latest run. Give him 22 yards there. Give him 37 for the contest. 1st and 10 at the 15. And we have yet another new face running the football for this Navy offense. Bobby Rudsky, the ball carrier. That's good for a gain of 7. With that run, Navy over 500 yards for the game. Rutsky comes in motion. Quarterback keeper all the way into the end zone. Rhett Seipel does it with his legs. And the Mids lead it 56-0 here at home. And this right now is the most lopsided contest for Navy. It's another meeting with the Big Red. You got to go back to 2019 when Navy topped Cornell 70-7. It's the last time the Mids has beaten anybody by 57 or more. Sutton to kick it away as Navy's on the verge of 5-0 this season. Meanwhile, the big boy football squad trying to beat FAU tomorrow, improve to 7-0, and accomplish which is no small feat. All of Navy football being unbeaten beyond Halloween. Gordon's tackled at the 20-yard line. Earl in there on the stop. And Molloy offense will retake the field with 9:29 to go. Third tackle for Merle. He also has a tackle for loss. He's had a really nice game coming off the bench for Navy. We got our third new quarterback into the game for Molloy. Zero effect on the run game as this Navy defense has been swarming throughout. Wyatt Brown on the tackle. Luis Roca into the game at quarterback. Sophomore from Blue Point, New York. Played in 5 games last year and getting some run here in this contest. Second and 12 for Molloy at the 21-yard line. Roca in the pistol. High toss brought down by his running back Dixon. Swallowed up after a gain of maybe a half a yard. Will set up 3rd and long. Third and 11 for the Lions, where Molloy is 3 for 14 this evening. Roca has Dixon in the backfield with them. Luis rolling right. And throws a high percentage pass on shoulder mark, short of the first down marker. And shorter mark has been by far the most productive player on offense for the Lions. There's his 6th reception of the game for 41 yards. This one's fielded on a hop by Stosko, who's going to try and race towards the boundary and kick it away. He won't get there. Chipped up by none other than double fours. Drake Morrell has had a fantastic game for the midshipmen tonight. Second tackle for loss this evening for Merle. Once again, the Mids have made a change at quarterback. Rudsky on the carry. Spun down after a pickup of 9 inside the Molloy 15-yard line. Not much else that Coach Reading can do besides just kneeing out the football. Navy sat the starters. The Mids have asked the second team to take a seat. And now J.P. Bobo running the offense, junior from San Clemente, California. Give to Rudsky. Huge hole to the left side. And he can waltz in for 6. Navy just continuing to pour it on. The Mids getting the full complement tonight. The light show, the PA theatrics, and a 63-0 drubbing in their penultimate home game of the season. This kick fielded by Gordon at the 11. Stopped by a pile at the 25-yard line. Brief pause there. Was doing some research trying to track down why a defensive lineman, Bobby Rutsky, had so many carries. My best guess is that's Mar Threet, freshman running back from Buffalo, New York, that Navy's been really high on these past couple weeks. They finally got him back last Friday against Chestnut Hill. And I want to give a shout-out to Threet for picking up his first touchdown. So, no, Bobby Rutsky hasn't converted to the other side of the ball, picking up first down and TDs. Albeit Mar's just wearing his number. So apologies to the Threet family and friends who are watching this. That communication was never relayed over to us. Downs taken down on first down for a loss of 1. Another tackle for Merle. His monster second half continues. That's his third tackle for loss. Roker to throw on second down. Another catch made on the sideline by Von Schoenemark and thrown out of bounds. Flag flies late. Number 2 for Molloy has already taken himself out of the game. Gives you an idea of what this call is going to be here.
Penalty from the end of the run. That down counted.
So as Peter
Third
continues
down,
to punch the aluminum bench behind him, it's a 15-yard personal foul for hucking the ball at a Navy defender. Certainly had an argument that it might have come after the whistle. After all that, it will be 3rd and a mile for Molloy. Snap to Roca, blitz coming. 3-step drop, pressure in his face, and he's taken down. Sack by Boo Dama. The freshman from Alexandria with his first sack. Up by Stosko will trickle out to the 36-yard line. Navy's offense takes over with 4:41 to go, up 63-0 on the Lions. Threet and Kite in the backfield, bracketing their quarterback Bobos. Low snap picked up. Kite on the move towards the near sideline and continues on his march towards the red zone. First down Navy. Clock continues to wind. Ball will be put down to the 22-yard line. Rest of the downs for the Mids as the clock nears 4 minutes to play here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. Gampobo trouble with the snap. Desperation mode. It's picked off. Third interception tonight for the Lions. Anthony Caliendo with the INT. So what it's worth, Molloy is likely going to win the turnover battle tonight. That is the third Navy interception. And only once did the Lions give the football away. Back to Roca at quarterback. We'll get some motion first. Jordan Bennett,
offense,
the left tackle, jump forward.
Penalty. So first down.
Jordan, another one of those talented student athletes I was alluding to earlier when talking about Molloy's bio and pre-med program. He's a bio major. He wants to become a physical therapist. Former all-division lineman at Longwood High School. Grew up in Middle Island, New York. 1st and 15. They'll toss it out to Dixon. Spun around. Still going. Just too much Navy in his way. Finally tackled by Eli Brown. We're going to throw it on 2nd and long off his back foot and way too high. Appear to be looking for Noah Jabor on that near side. Sophomore wide out from Sayneville, New York. So we'll see the Lions dial up here on 3rd and long. It's a run play. Toss it to Gordon. Tackle in the backfield. Wyatt Brown and company there on the TFL. I have to imagine that Molloy will take this play clock down as long as possible. Kick it away. And the Navy can put it in park with victory formation. And this emphatic W here at home. Sosco's punt takes a Molloy bounce into Navy territory. Finally stopped at the 43. Again, Navy's 63-point win tonight would tie the mark it set back in 2019, a 70-7 win over Cornell. Before that, you have to go all the way back to the 2017 season when the Mids beat Caldwell 72-0. Navy shows no sign of stopping right now. That's Mar Threet on the carry. Pickup of 5 on 1st down. Navy will take it to the 2-minute timeout. That's all that remains between the midshipmen and a 5-0 start to this season. Out of 2-minute timeout, 2nd and 6 for Navy. Threet, patient, explodes up the near sideline and taken down by his ankles inside the Molloy 40 up to the Lions 37. Set up the chains and wind the clock. Another big run for Mar 3. The latest weapon in the stable of running backs for Navy. Three with that gain, up to 51 for the game. Here it's Wyatt Kite. Wrestled down after pickup of a couple inside the Molloy 35 to the 34-yard line. Finally, the mids will put it in park. Bobo takes a knee. And with that difference between the play clock and the game clock, the officials will let this one run out. Navy's going to win it 63-0 over the Molloy Lions. The Mids improved to 2-0 all-time against this fledgling program out of Long Island and moved to 5-0 on the season. So the Midshipmen take the first step in winning the first game of the back half of their season. They will play Penn, Caldwell, and Army to round out the 2025 regular season slate. Again, 63-0 your final tonight. We'll get your wrapped up with the touchdown scores for the Mids this evening. Christian Connolly opened the scoring for Navy. He scooped up an errant snap on a punt and took it in for 6. After that, it was Jake Berger, a 15-yard reception caught by Luke O'Connell. That made it 14-0 Navy. And then to cap the first quarter scoring, Hunter Jennings ran in his 8th touchdown of the season. Jennings did it again in the second, a 55-yard TD sprint to make it 28-zip. Jennings with a hat trick in the second half, so he ran in his 3rd in the 3rd quarter. Broderick Freeman joined the fun. He had a career evening for the Midshipmen. And then John Malatesta, Rhett Seipolt, and Samarian Threet ended the scoring for the Mids. They take this one again tonight. 63-0 your final. Navy's largest margin of victory in a game since 2019. Thank you so much for listening this evening. Shout out to our entire crew for making this possible. I'm Tim Nolan saying so long for Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. Have a great night.